So you remember, hubs are at the physical layer of the OSI model, which is layer 1, right? They have the collision domains that connect up to the switches at the data link layer. Data link layer and switches deal with the MAC address, okay? And those are going to be the broadcast domain. So you have collision domain, you have broadcast domain, and then here we go with the routers here. Now we're getting up into the network layer. So typically when you hear of a router, you'll hear it being layer 3 of the OSI model, and layer 3 being the network layer. So they can be configured in a bunch of different ways. One way is what's called an access control list. If you've never seen that before, usually it's like a Excel spreadsheet that has different device names and then what they can access or where they can forward traffic to. So it's like a way that you can filter through access control. That's the name, right? Access control list. And another way is to use them as a firewall. But in its simplest form, typically routers are used to route traffic from one domain into another domain. And typically you can log on using a console cable, which is fairly straightforward to do, and go ask Dr. Google a bunch of different commands on what to run out there on the router. And before you know it, within an hour, you should be able to conquer just about any router that's out there. You can usually reset them if you don't know the passwords for them. And a great tool to use is the defaultpasswords.com. If you've never been out there before, it's got a list of every default password you could actually think of. Usually for Cisco, it's Cisco. Usually for Linksys, it's Linksys. But if those don't work, typically you can go blank, like nothing, or admin, right? Those are the 4 different types that just about any router in the world, if it's not configured or somebody didn't take the time to go in there and change that, then you can go in and get on it pretty easily there. So these work at layer 3 of the OSI model, and that's an important distinction for you to remember.